How's it going, Descendant? Chill VTuber here, content creator for the first Descendant and Twitch streamer where I stream with my twin sister Chili. Rise up, my Ajax mains. Some of you are aware, I released my Ajax Rhino build that focused on doing massive damage with Void Explosion, making a strong mob clearing option. This build that I'm dubbing the Kingaru Ajax build is the yin to the Rhino's yang, because it's also a strong mobbing build, also keeps all the enemies stunned around you. Be sure to like this video and leave a comment on the next Descendant you want to see Chili or I review next. Let's get into it. So going over Ajax's Kingaru Ajax build, the key mod that we're focusing on is going to be Void Charge. Modifies Void Walk and Expulsion damage to increase proportional to defense. Whenever using an enhanced skill, it resets Void Charge to 1 stack. That means whenever you have full Void energy, you cast an enhanced skill, it could be any enhanced skill, you get back 1 charge of Void Charge. Okay? So with that being said, Void Walk now changes to Void Charge. You leap forward, deal damage proportional to defense upon landing, inflicting stun, and damaging enemies. When using enhanced skill, you get back 1 charge. Again, that could be Hypercube, Orbit Barrier, any ability you cast while enhanced. Again, that's casting with full Void energy. You get 1 Void Charge back to you. Key things to notice is that now defense increases your damage proportional to 17.3% of your defense that you have on your character. So it does add a little bit, but don't let that fool you. That is a trap. You want to focus on your main modifier increases and skill power increases first before you prioritize defense after the fact. Because defense increases, while it is a little bit, I did some testing and it does not give enough of a buff to prioritize defense over your modifier buffs. But just keep that in mind. Don't fall for that trap. It's something you add after adding your skill power modifiers and your skill power buffs to your abilities. So that's Void Charge. Expulsion now also gets additional damage proportional to your defense at 3%. That doesn't do too much. If you see the Rhino build does more damage with this ability, so we're not focusing on this one. We're mostly focusing on Void Charge. That being said, the monster we're going to be using with this build, first one's going to be Spear and Shield for an increase in defense and skill power, double dipping into both for the Void Charge for the defense increase, the attack power, and just the raw skill power. Focus on non-attribute for non-attribute skill power boost and skill cooldown reduction, Nimble Fingers for cooldown reduction, skill expansion for skill range, HP amplification for increased HP at the cost of shields, maximize range for skill effect range at the cost of power modifier. Again, because Void Charge has a high modifier at base of 634%, we're okay to take that hit because, again, since it has a high modifier, it does diminishing returns, and because of a mod that we're going to show later, because one of the mods we have, it doesn't have as much of a negative effect. So keep that in mind. It's okay to have that reduction in modifier. Next mod is Maximize Conservation for skill cost reduction at the cost of skill power modifier. Again, that's okay. And Peak Conversion for skill cooldown reduction at the cost of max HP. General increased HP. And then Focus on Tech for Tech skill power modifier increase and a reduction to skill cooldowns. With everything all together, this is the effective values that we have for the build. With this, we're allowed to cast abilities like crazy. Void Charge is sitting at a cooldown of 2.2 seconds, so we're able to spam Void Charge consecutively over and over and over again. That's not including whenever we have Void Charge stacks built up, because again, the more Void Charges we have, the less cooldown that we have for our abilities. So at 3 stacks, I believe we're at 1.2 second cooldown per stack of Void Charge. So keep that in mind. And again, stun right now is sitting at 1.6 seconds with everything applied. So as long as you keep launching into Void Charge over and over and over again, everything will be stunned and they have no way to get out. With Maximized Conservation, we're able to cast from Void Charge originally at a 12-second charge base up to 21 times now. You can pop the ability 9 more times because of the skill cost reduction to this ability. That's why that mod is very key to keep spamming this ability and just keeping everything stunned, clearing out all the mobs, and just clearing out the field. And you have, again, because of this, you have a radius of 17.2 meters. So everything within your vicinity, you're literally casting an earthquake every time you land down. All the enemies in the radius are being affected. They don't have any chance of running away from this ability. That being said, now that we know how this build's going to work, let's go over the weapon to best pair with this build. So the weapon we're going to want to pair with the Kingaru Ajax build is going to be Secret Garden. Similar to the Rhino build, because again, Secret Garden's unique ability allows it to give a damage increase to skill power. Nuts. Because Secret Garden has the ability Pest Control when proccing a tech skill, that's best to utilize for this build so we get an additional damage increase to it. So we're going to be pairing Secret Garden. If you want a more detailed explanation on the weapon and a build for it, check the ID card on the top right, as Chili already made a video on it, so go ahead and watch that one. So with that being said, the best weapon to pair with it, let's go over the Reactor and components. For the reactor, we're going to pair with this build. Again, you want it with Secret Guard mounting because, again, we're using Secret Guard as the main weapon to use to buff our skill abilities and just a general firearm attack boost for this build. So, again, we want non-attribute skill power boost and tech skill power boost because, again, Void Charge is a tech ability. That's going to be the main ability that we use for this build. The only ability we'll use for this build, mostly for the fact of mob clearing, but, again, you can use your other abilities as well. But the main damage source is Void Charge. For the attributes, you want to have non-attribute skill power boost ratio and either skill cooldown or skill cost. Because again, spamming this ability constantly, you want to have the cooldowns to have it come back faster, or the skill cost to cast more of the ability. Again, this depends on whatever you get, but ideally the main one to have is non-attribute skill power boost. For the components that we're using for this set, we're using the Annihilation set just for general survivability. The skill duration does help out with the stun effect just to give it an additional 0.1 second, but not too big of a deal. We're mostly using this for survivability with this build. If you want to get more attack power out of it, you would use the Slayer set, but I personally like the Annihilation set, so it just depends on whichever one you want to use. For the power, you're going to want to have max HP and MP recovery out of combat. For the sensor, you're going to want max MP and MP recovery in combat. Unfortunately, Chili and I have yet to get that sensor at this time, but we're still trying. But that's ideally what you want. Max MP and MP recovery in combat. For the memory, the ideal one you want to have is gold defense, and the other one could be whatever you want. If you can get MP recovery modified, that does help out with the sensor and the power. But again, mostly you just want the max defense, increase the gold defense. For the processor, we have max shields and toxic resistance. Ideally, you just want the max shields. The other one could be whatever. Toxic resistance is just a little bit helpful, especially for the new boss coming out here in the next couple of weeks. But again, you could use whatever you get on that. For the final stat spread for the build, we're sitting at 37,000 defense, 491 shields, and 20,000 HP with MP of 287.3. So with this build, you're able to spam Void Charges constantly. If I'm not mistaken, it should be 21 charges of Void Charge before you run out of MP completely. And that's not including whenever you pick up more MP on the field, whenever enemies drop it. So yeah, with this build, you're able to spam them constantly. Let me show you how it looks like in game. So going over a quick showcase of the build in action. Again, Void Charge is the main ability that we're using for this. Again, we cranked up the range of this ability, the damage of this ability, and the cooldown reduction for this ability. So in action, it looks like this. Let's see. Simply being at this range right here, we're hitting all the enemies, including the ones in the back. That's how much range you have with this ability. And again, you can just keep spamming the ability over and over again. If you look right there on the left side, you do see pest controls being procced, that little 3 next to the ability. See? Keeps popping over and over again, so long as I'm popping the same ability. And we're slowly ramping up damage more and more so. As you can see, the enemies are staying stunned the entire time. They're not breaking out of it. If they do, they're right back into the stun, so they can't do anything else. And you're just ramping up damage. And let's see. Throughout this whole description, I'm still popping Void Charges, and I still have more to pop. And still going, and by the time I finish this description, it is over. Nope, you can pop one more. Nope, it's gone. So yeah, see? That's just your basic combo with this build. You're just popping this place to place all over, making sure you hit all the enemies, just leaping from area to area. You're basically a kangaroo, just leaping from area to area, just keeping all the enemies stunned, taking care of them. They all die in 1 hit, 2 hits, maybe 3, but they won't be able to do anything, so it doesn't even matter. So, yep, that's just the basic concept of the build. If you want to be an ad clearing, ad control build, this is definitely the one to play. If you want to use more damage-based ones and clear out enemies in 1 to 2 hits, definitely the Rhino build. But again, now you have 2 different options for mob clearing with Ajax. You want to play Leapfrog or do you want to be Rhino? Up to you. But for this video, appreciate y'all for making it to the end. If you have any builds or ideas you want to share, come join our Discord through the link in the description and show us. If we end up using your build, we'll give you a shout out on the build video. Also, don't forget that we have a discount code with Rogue Energy for some of the best energy drinks around. Be sure to use code CHILLVT for 10% off any purchases. Also, if you feel we deserve it, be sure to support us through our Nexon creator page. To support us, simply go down to the Nexon link in the description below and hit support. Simple as that. That way, anytime you purchase any caliber off the first Descendant store, you'll also be supporting us. Appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep it chill.